was up with that.
I know they get charged.
It is at 100%. May 24th. This folder is empty. I don't think so. Tonight's meeting brought to you by Aquafina.
No ginger ale?
No, I had
that?
that earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Are we on the air?
Yes. we're in the
Is
air.
there, what?
We're in the air.
You said we're good whenever, so.
Ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. At 7:01 p.m., I will open tonight's meeting of the Luneburg Select Board, Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, and ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Let's get the particulars of all the legal stuff out of the way. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live over the Luneburg Public Access channel, on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page, and will be uploaded to the Luneburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the conclusion of the meeting. If you would like to participate in tonight's meeting remotely, and you have access to a tablet, smartphone, or computer, you can do so by using the Zoom application. And tonight's webinar ID is 909-174-0347. If you would like to participate but don't have access to one of those devices but have access to a telephone, you can join by phone at 888-475-4499. And once again, the webinar ID is 909-174-0347. The posted agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at tonight's meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. So, this evening, I want to first and foremost, as a public comment from the board, welcome our new member to finally round out a 5-member board, Heather Soroka. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And welcome to the board.
Thank you.
If you want to say something in a second, we'll come back to that. I also want to thank Mr. Jeffries on his reelection, and thank everyone in town for the honor of reelecting myself for another term as well. So I appreciate everybody who came out. I could probably thank everybody in person, since it was a total of the whole 177. Probably everybody who was at town meeting, I'm guessing, because the numbers are incredibly similar. Anyway, I will open it up to the public comment to the rest of the board.
Oh, you want me to go? Oh, I go this way, right? I go this way. I just wanted to say thank you for electing me, and I hope that I can contribute to the discussion and bring a new and fresh and different perspective than these fine gentlemen.
I'd like to welcome Ms. Soroka. I appreciate you coming on board and volunteering for the town, and yep, that's it.
Thank you.
I want to thank, welcome and thank you, and also just as the now the second most junior member of this board, I want to thank you for making me the second most junior member of the board. But besides that, there is a learning curve, and I'm still on that learning curve. But I'm still sympathetic to that learning curve. So if at any point you want to reach out and I can impart any wisdom whatsoever, please do so. All right.
And Mr. Franco is rising up the ranks quickly as the second youngest.
So I also want to welcome you, Heather, to the board. This is definitely exciting to have you with us, and I certainly look forward to all of your contributions that you will make over the coming year. And I also have just some prepared remarks for the town regarding the election this past week. So, 5 years and a few months ago, I stood at the podium in this great hall at my first Board of Selectmen meeting to raise concerns about what I termed to be a Gillette Stadium of pot, a 300,000 square foot facility proposed to be built in my backyard, a residential neighborhood. In preparation for that meeting, I went door to door and spoke to all the abutters willing to talk to me on Mass Ave, Arbor Street, Page Street, and Rolling Acres to build opposition to a marijuana growing facility that was trying to slip into our town under the guise of agriculture prior to the approval of a marijuana bylaw and the state excluding marijuana for being a farming activity. At that time, my primary concern was my sick father and what I perceived to be an encroachment on property rights, town sovereignty, and the potential disruption to the quality of life for so many at the expense of millionaires trying to earn more millions. In these past 5 years, I have gotten married, graduated from college, retired from the Army, and served our town on the Planning Board and Select Board. I've served as a member of the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee, Montechusett Planning Organization, and Montechusett Regional Transit Authority. I've served on the Luneburg Municipal Building Design Committee, the Charter Review Committee, and liaised with the Library Trustees, the Council of Aging, and our high school civics teachers. Serving my fellow residents has been an honor, and I am beyond words at the support from those in our community who've elected me to serve for 3 more years. There's a lot of work to be done still, but I first have to give glory and honor to God, who is ahead of my life. I have to thank my husband, Ezra, for his support, albeit on the condition that he doesn't have to get involved. I want to thank Dave and Karen Rogers, who are my surrogate parents. Ezra and I have nothing but love for you. I want to thank Jane and Jack Rabbit for their enduring friendship, and my fellow board members, especially Tom, and previous members Damon McQuaid and Jamie Toll for their support. And as always, our town manager, Heather, who hears me swear like a sailor and doesn't ever bat an eye, while she does extraordinary things for our town and its residents. And there's so many more to thank, but please trust that I'm humbled by the honor of this service, and I thank you all tremendously.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. It will be a very, very interesting. We did not have many, I don't think we had any when we were a 4-member board, 2-2 votes, but I'm very glad about that. But it'd be nice having a full composite of, on the board, and somebody with a, of course, having served on the school committee, experience in town government, but also a fresh face on the board from a different perspective, not just from the school perspective, but the whole town. And so it should bring it back to the board, having a full member and a new member and a full board. So thank you. Any public comment from the public? Do we have any public here?
None raising their hand.
Nobody's raising their hand. Any announcements?
No.
No announcements. Any appointments?
No appointment.
No appointments. Look at this, flying through. Okay, interviews, appointments, reappointments, resignation. So first item up is a vote to approve the exemption per Mass General Law 268A, Section 20, subsection F, request from police chief regarding firefighters to serve as civilian traffic members and the ratification of appointments of firefighters Christos Lekaditis, James Ricci, Melissa Buchanan, and Olivia Hayes as civilian traffic members. I will ask the town manager for kind of an introduction or explanation for ourselves, but mainly for the people at home, what we're being asked to do.
Yes, so since the firefighters are of a different bargaining unit, we consulted Labor Council on this matter, because this would be a detail rate under the police bargaining unit. So he advised, as far as the process that we would have to occur to enable this to occur. And basically, it falls under the special municipal exemptions, specifically exemption F, which allows for public safety officers to take a second position within the town. So that is what is being requested tonight, is for the board to approve this exemption request. This has been the process as it's filed with the town clerk. The board votes to approve the exemption and then would vote to ratify the appointment of the 4 firefighters to do civilian traffic details. firefighters step forward to do this. We're at a shortage right now for details. There's a number of details that are needed around town based on various private detail work needed. So this will help assist fill those details. And it will go through the process of being offered through the police union contract first. So full-time police officers will be first offered details. They'll go through that whole process before it would be offered to the firefighters.
But just for the record, if, in those times when they are serving, when these people we're asked to appoint are serving as civilian traffic members, they are serving outside of the scope of their other union
Yes,
contract. They're serving as civilians at that point.
right.
Okay. Any questions for the town manager on this request?
You,
What?
yes. Uniform, do they have, is there going to be a requirement for the town to purchase new uniforms for them?
I believe that has not been brought up, but I believe they'd have to go through the training that's required to do this. And I would believe we probably provide them with the proper vests and
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't think there's any uniform. I think it's just a reflective vest.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you mentioned that the detail offers would go to full-time police officers. Then would it hit the reserve police officers prior to
Yes.
going to the, okay, that's all. Thank you.
And this it went through the police union as well. They're in agreement,
Okay.
an endorsement of it.
Anybody else have any questions?
I don't.
Who else? We have another special employees that we've done this exact, not this particular one. 'cause
Predates
this-
me, and I'm
okay.
not aware
All right.
of that group.
Okay, so without further ado, if nobody has any other questions, I will entertain a motion. Well, let's do them in two motions. First, let's vote to approve the exemption per Mass General Law 260A, Section 20F, to allow firefighters to serve as civilian traffic members.
I move to approve the exemption as stated.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Then I will entertain a motion on the ratification of appointments of firefighters Christos Lakaditis, James Ricci, Melissa Buchanan, and Olivia Hayes as civilian traffic members.
Yeah, I move to ratify the appointment of the aforementioned as civilian traffic members.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Again, any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. We have a resignation, two resignations. First, we have a resignation from the Ag Committee, Agricultural Commission. That was from Mr. Ryan Stober, who sent in a letter saying to the town manager as of today being Thursday, May 19th, I'll be resigning from the AgCom. Between work and other endeavors, I cannot commit the time, and the seat should be utilized by someone who can commit the time and effort. Regards, Ryan Stober. So if we can get a letter drafted so we can sign, thank him for his service on the Agricultural Commission.
Certainly.
Just when we were getting near the end of your vacancies.
Yes, added one to the list.
And then we have a resignation from PAC, the Public Access Cable Committee, Jeffrey Bako, who just sent in a letter on May 17th. Actually, he sent it in May 17th of next year, but I think he meant this year. So, just dear Elaine Peterson, I'm resigning from the PAC due to not having enough time to fully commit. So again, a letter for Mr. Bako. Now, does that bring us, how many openings does that bring us? Because now we have an appointment to the PAC.
That would fill that position.
Okay, so that was full, then we have the resignation. Wow,
Yes.
this is unusual. So we have one the same night. So we have an appointment to the Public Access Cable Committee, or potential appointment, of Paul Serapis of 43 Cortlandt Circle, term to expire June 30th, 2023. Please, he is here.
Step up to the.
Yes, step up to the microphone. Booming voice. Just introduce yourself, your name, your address, and then why you would like to be serving on the Public Access Cable Committee.
Okay, so I'm Paul Serapis. I live at 43 Cortlandt Circle in Luneburg. And I have been living in this town since November of 2018, so a relative newcomer to the town. I was a high school teacher and department head of visual and performing arts at Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School for 20 years. And I retired from that position in June of 2020. So I had a weird transition with, having us being shut down with COVID and video becoming really important. My career has always been in broadcasting, film, television, and visual art. In between different stints as a school teacher, I did work professionally as a television producer, editor, and director. I did a lot of teaching in public access television in Malden, Malden Access Television, which is now known as Urban Television, and they have won numerous awards as being one of the premier public access centers in the country. When I was at Lincoln Sudbury, I was also ex officio on their public access TV committee, and anyways, to make the story a little quicker, when I was doing an article on a 100-year-old citizen in town, I got the pleasure of meeting Mr. Pete Lincoln, who fairly quickly, once we talked about what I did and what he had been doing, recruited me to come to a meeting, which I did, just sat in on a meeting, and I offered my help if and when a vacancy ever came up on the committee. So that's why I'm interested. Specifically, what I would like to do with this is, number one, when I get involved with anything for the first time, I do a lot of observation and just sort of see how things are going and, what the history is, what people need. I think eventually I have a lot of experience in negotiating with the private vendors, Comcast and Verizon, in terms of what they provide the towns, what they have to provide the towns in terms of funds or facility. So I can help with that when asked. And I think I would like to also have a look at how utilized or underutilized the whole facility is, because there's a lot of great equipment over there. I've done a few little productions of my own, and I would love to see if I could find some ways to get some educational programs going, perhaps do some work with the senior center, perhaps do some work with the high school. So I just, in retirement, I'm very busy still. I do a lot of reporting for the Luneburg Ledger, and just would like to put my skills and experience to work for the town, and help out in any ways I can.
Excellent. I will, if anybody has any questions for the applicant.
No?
My only comment is, thank you for stepping forward. You appear, exceptionally qualified to serve on this committee, and we appreciate your volunteerism.
Sure.
I just want to thank you too, although I have to say I'm a little concerned about your lack of qualifications and vision for the.
Like I said, I'm just going to pay attention and listen and see how things roll.
See what you can learn.
Yeah, I'm not I'm trying to reinvent anything. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
And I can
He's
concur
really
with-
feeling that new power as he goes up the ranks, I'm telling you.
I concur with those comments, and I know I've reached out to express my appreciation for your work on the Luneburg Ledger, and thank you for stepping forward today.
Sure.
Yeah, clearly you're very well qualified, and I'm glad to see that somebody with that background in public TV is going to be joining the board. Have you met with the board? the existing package?
Yes, I went to one meeting, some months ago now, I think, and so I've met most, I think there were maybe one or two people who were not there that night. And informally, I've met the chair a couple of times. I've been in and out. Sometimes I've done some articles for the paper and done companion video interviews. One of my fun ones was with Mr. Fred Cuddy, a very distinguished gentleman, veteran of the Second World War, who is nearing his 100th birthday.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And then another one with JP and his partner, Lynn. He had suffered a terrible head injury and is incapacitated, and so we did a really nice interview with him about everything he's been doing to make a comeback as much as he can.
He's a good friend. They're both good friends, and that was an excellent piece.
Thank you.
So thank you.
And honestly, it gives me a lot of satisfaction and pleasure to just mainly be focusing all the good stuff that's going on in the town. And I just want to be able to help as much as I can. You'll have an article on the cover of this Friday's about the groundbreaking.
Oh, nice,
Going
good,
to it,
yeah.
Yeah, so anyways.
Just a point of curiosity of my own, of where you served for 20 years in schools, did you start there after Paula Poundstone was there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think Paula Poundstone graduated there in the '90s, so that was afterwards. Yeah, and then prior to that, I worked at a school called the Carroll School in Lincoln for 10 years for
Oh, that's, yeah.
dyslexic
I
kids.
know that
Yeah.
school. That's a great school.
Where we did video with the kids, which is a really good thing to do with dyslexic
That's
kids.
the school that's nearby the DeCordova, right?
Yes, right up the street from the Cordova Museum. Yeah, so which is also
Great
great. I got access to that place from working for both places. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be great to have you on board. And I think we're filling the shortest vacancy ever.
Oh, good.
It's really been vacant for about 4 minutes now, 5 minutes. So,
Excellent.
all right, I would entertain a motion in the appointment of Paul Serapis of 43 Cortlandt Circle to the Public Access Cable Committee.
I move to appoint Paul Serapis to the Public Access Cable Committee.
Second.
And the term, just so everybody's know, term to expire June 30th of next year.
Yes. Term to expire June 30th of next year.
Still second.
It's still seconded, right. That's not gonna deter Michael Ray. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. Make sure you get sworn in by the town clerk before your next meeting.
Okay.
And
So I just give her office a call to do that?
you just show up. Yeah.
Okay,
just pop in.
just walk in.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
like that.
And they will,
And then in the year's time, go through the same process again?
yeah, you'll get a reappointment email at that point, so it'll be easier because you'll be notified
Yeah.
that you're up for a reappointment.
Very good. Okay,
Thank you so much.
very welcome.
Good
Nice to
luck.
see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Notified during public comment, Steve Weaver must have his hand up. I can see
oh,
it.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second, Paul.
Wait, somebody.
No, Steve Weaver, not during public comment, not during this.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't. I apologize. I can't see the hands from here.
Didn't see it.
Actually, I didn't put my hand up. It must have been a computer one that snuck in.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
That's our chair, distinguished chair, right?
Yes. And I'm sure he's very pleased because he sent in a comment that the board was pleased to have you join the commission, so. Committee, sorry. I keep mixing up committee and commissions. It's half and half here, so. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, town manager report.
We'll start with existing vacancies. There are one vacancy on the Agricultural Commission, one vacancy on the Economic Development Committee, which is a person recommended by Open Space, one vacancy, one regular member vacancy, and 2 associate vacancies on the Green Communities Committee, and 1 vacancy on the Historical Commission. Anyone interested in any of these positions can find the application form on the town website, complete it, and return it to the Select Board's office. And if you have any questions regarding the roles and responsibilities, please contact the office at 978-582-4600. 4130, extension 144.
Now, I know we have some new talent bank forms for people interested in the green community, so
Yes.
that there are 2 people I know that are interested there.
We're
Okay,
just waiting for a response from the Green Communities Chair
fair
on those.
fair enough, thank you.
Current employment opportunities with the town. We have positions for library page. We have multiple positions for a heavy equipment operator under the DPW, seasonal lifeguards, production technician, which is under public access, van driver, and videographers for public access as well. More information on these positions can be found under employment opportunities on the town website, and that's where you can find out how to apply for these positions. Department head updates. We had a department head meeting today. From the library is preparing for opening on Fridays after the start of the new fiscal year. The hours are proposed to be 2 to 6 p.m. on Fridays. And they also the director reported the summer reading program is starting soon. Under IT, the network equipment installation will be beginning in the beginning of June. We will also need to be upgrading our accounting software, which is Munis, to the newer version before the end of that calendar year, not fiscal year. And we'll be working with the finance director on that, and it'll be a whole new interface for employees as well. But we've heard good feedback on the newer version of Munis, so I think employees will like the newer version versus what they're working with now. The new equipment, there will be new equipment ordered for the DPW conference room as well as the Ritter conference room in the lower level. This will enable hybrid meetings to occur in those 2 locations. So not live stream meetings, but people who want to participate via Zoom, and then they'll be able to see and hear everyone in those conference rooms. So that's forthcoming. So right now, we don't know the delivery date of the equipment, and therefore that will lead to the installation date once we know that. Yes. For the police officer Matt Pingatori graduated from the academy last week, so he's now fully on board. And the appointment of the additional civilian traffic positions will help fill all the details that are needed right now. From the fire department, the fire chief is advertising for the 9th paramedic position currently. And that's funded for fiscal 23. The chief will be looking at also applying for a grant from Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, which is MEMA, that would help pay for costs related to local emergency shelters in the event of a power outage. And this is a very competitive grant, so it may be unlikely that we'll receive it, but if awarded, it would defray the cost of that capital project for the generator to be installed at the senior center. That was in the fiscal 23 capital plan. From the Council on Aging director reminded everyone that the 55th anniversary celebration is Tuesday, June 14th at noon at the Eagle House. So all are welcome to come and celebrate. They'll have live music and food and entertainment.
So the senior center is a senior itself.
Yes.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
And the venue will be outside. Senior center director is getting a tent, so it'll be outside if people.
On the new patio?
Not the new patio, but we'll be ready for that, but maybe next year for the 56th anniversary. The principal assessor is working on real estate tax commitments and supplemental tax bills. From the finance director, departments will be notified shortly about the last date to open purchase orders for fiscal 22 and about any outstanding purchases or services that were rendered that we haven't received invoices yet for that would need to be encumbered by June 30th. From Public Access is still working with HR director to try to fill the production technician and videographer positions. And from the DPW director provided the road work schedule for the next few weeks, including that catch basin repairs would be occurring today on Main Street, Memorial Avenue, Oak Avenue, and Highland Street in preparation for the upcoming paving. And Goodrich Street was being paved today as well. The director spoke with PJ Keating about the paving on Main Street, Memorial Ave, Oak Ave, and Highland. And the preliminary schedule is to start paving Highland first on May 31st, then move to Memorial and Main on June 1st, and Oak Ave last. And this is subject to change, but the DPW will make that announcement if it changes. Meetings, events, and other announcements. The Memorial Day ceremony will be Monday, May 30th at 10 a.m. at Veterans Park. The Luneburg Farmers Market will start on Sunday, June 12th, and be every Sunday until Sunday, September 25th. And the band concerts will be occurring again at the TCP lawn in the front entrance of TCP on July 11th, July 18th, July 25th, August 1st, August 8th, and a rain date of August 15th. And that's all I have for tonight.
Any questions for the town manager from any of the members? Wow, blistering pace. This is like Preakness pace here. Okay, review and approve the town manager evaluation. So last week, per our policy, I presented the draft to the members. I asked everybody to please review it, provide me with any changes, modifications. Also, it was a chance for the members to review the other members' evaluations, just to make sure that the composite was an accurate depiction of the blending of all of the reports of the individual members. Everybody has done that, and I got one modification of one word, so that was good.
Must have been Lou.
Nope, it was not.
Unfortunately, I cannot take credit for that.
Okay, so I will read into the record those parts. So, on part one, which is the performance of prior year's goals, all of the three goals of the town manager, the continuation of the goal to redevelop and reuse 925 Mass Avenue, also known as the abandoned gas station, is in progress and has been in progress for I think every year that you've been here, that's been on. But definitely has come a long, long
Lisa,
way.
last couple of years, it's been a goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enhanced facilities management and maintenance, that was in progress. That's, I guess, when we hire, since the town meeting just passed the new department, that will finish this year, but it is very far along. The new department was the largest piece of it. Now it's just to fill out the position and to get it going. And then number three, establish a means-tested senior citizen property tax exemption. That too is underway. And the notes from the select board, as a general consensus comment, the select board was pleased with the progress made on these goals, several being large multi-year tasks. The town manager never lose sight of these goals and is able to further their progress while still attending to the daily tasks of running the town. Part two is the performance standards and core responsibilities. Each one of the 8 sections is rated between 0 being unsatisfactory and 4 meaning consistently exceeds expectations. And the scores that I will provide tonight were basically the average score between all of the scores of the select board members. So under individual characteristics and professionalism, the rating was a 4. The comment is that the select board unanimously recognizes that the town manager is the consummate employee who conducts herself with the utmost professionalism in every facet of her job. She deals with everyone equally and impartially, is personable, honest, collaborative, approachable, and available while maintaining a steady and calm demeanor throughout all her interactions. She is a strong advocate for her staff, and their respect for her makes her leadership very effective. She is firm and resolute in her convictions while still being open to suggestions and always amenable to listening to differing viewpoints. Category 2, problem solving, decision making, and planning. That rating was a 3.25. A 3, just a 4. Was consistently exceeds expectation, and 3 often exceeds expectations, so somewhere between those two. The town manager identifies issues and formulates proposed solutions as she maintains a long-range view of the town and its needs. Among the items she has successfully managed by being adept and flexible are: 1, all the ever-changing COVID-related issues, both financial and otherwise; 2, the creation of the new facilities department; and 3, the slow but constant progress on 925 Mass Ave property, despite the myriad complexities of that task. Throughout the year, she has carefully balanced the demands of all these tasks and others, and the amount of time, concentration, and organization it takes to perform those competing tasks effectively should not be underestimated. Category 3, professional skills and knowledge. The town greatly benefits, a rating of 3.5. The town greatly benefits from the town manager's knowledge, skills, and experience, as she is clearly well-versed in all aspects of municipal government. She is a good listener, and her verbal and written communication abilities are excellent. It was noted that one of her greatest strengths as a leader is acknowledging when she doesn't know the answer to a particular question, then going out and researching it and coming back with an answer at subsequent meetings. This instills confidence that what is being asked is taken seriously, and that information is seriously sought and considered, and the response is reasoned and thoughtful. Category 4, organizational leadership and personnel management. Rating of a 3. There is no real consensus within the board on this topic. With the pandemic ongoing, economic uncertainty growing, and the job market so incredibly difficult, Luneburg, like so many other municipalities, has faced numerous challenges. The demands on the town manager's time and resources have been more strained than usual, especially in the light of personnel vacancies in various departments, most notably DPW. While some on the board applaud the town manager for being able to maintain staff and even make key hires in this challenging job market, others point to perceived deficiencies in the job posting, qualifications, and interview processes, limiting the number and background of people applying. What is agreed upon is that this area will require more focus this coming year, although what exact steps should be taken is not clear. It was also noted that staff achievements should be highlighted more often. Among other minority criticisms in this category included the lack of an employee survey to determine employee satisfaction and town hall still being open only 4 days a week. Category 5, community and public relations, a rating of 3.5. The town manager continues to have an excellent relationship with the numerous and varied people with whom she interacts, including elected officials, employees, business entities, charitable organizations, and residents. Throughout, she is open and engaged, caring, even-handed, and responsive, providing detailed replies. As the public face of Luneburg, she proudly represents the town in every aspect. Category 6, fiscal management, a rating of 4. Once again, this year, the Select Board unanimously recognized the town manager's skill and creativity as a fiscal manager. Her budgets meet the needs of the community, save for the future, and are consistent with all financial policies. She maintains fiscal discipline that keeps the town on solid financial footing, monitors all economic data, even in these current times of economic uncertainty, to determine budgeting objectives and strategies to achieve them. Because of her hard work, the town is well poised to weather most any global and or national economic situations that may arise. Category 7, relations with members of the board, a rating of 3.5. The relationship with the town manager and the select board is very strong. It is so because the town manager is very equitable in her communications to each of the board's members. She shares information openly and to every member. She is always available, some say maybe too available, to speak about any matter, quick to respond and or provide further information, open to hearing arguments counter to her own, and is willing to spend as much time as needed to ensure that all board members are up to speed on any issue. This is especially important to newer members of the board just learning the position, of which we now have a newest member. And the final category is reporting. That was a rating of 3.75. The town manager's reporting on all topics is strong, timely, and thorough. Her town manager report, given during select board meetings, continues to provide important information to the board and the public on current and upcoming topics of interest. Her financial reports are detailed, well-explained, and well-documented. While the content is admired, it is noted that the documents don't always translate well to broadcast or Zoom presentations, with fonts and spreadsheets being too small for the public to read. Also requested was that the board be able to receive the reports at least 24 hours before their presentation so they can be reviewed in advance. Part 3 is an overall performance summary that features basically 3 categories or 3 subparts. Best achievement. There was no unanimity on any single best achievement, but the board members did offer the list of noted accomplishments, including 1, the establishment of a facilities department, 2, the consistent fiscal discipline and sound budgeting practices, and 3, the continued progress on 925 Mass Ave. Second section would be subject which would benefit most from further attention. The majority of the board agrees that more attention needs to be paid to personnel management. It is widely acknowledged that staffing has become a big challenge and will likely continue to be going forward. Hiring and/or maintaining staff will require diligence and continued communication with department heads and staff. Morale will be very important. Addressing these will all take additional time and attention. Also, the town manager should reassess her time commitments and be sure to maintain a healthy, sustainable work-life balance to avoid undue stress that can jeopardize long-term success. While we applaud the hours and dedication that are clearly demonstrated by the town manager, we feel that it is in everyone's best interest to temper that via delegation or other solutions than to run continuously at full speed. And lastly, general comments. The Select Board unanimously agrees that the town manager has done an outstanding job again this year. She is committed to the highest professional standards and a pleasure to work with. Her dedication to the job and the countless hours she spends at it are quite apparent, and Luneburg is fortunate to have her as our town manager. That is the entirety of the composite. This is an available public document that will be available on the town website for anybody's review. I will open it up. I don't know, I'll start with the town manager. If you would like to say anything first?
No, I thank the board for the process. I think it's very helpful to have that self-evaluation piece and to meet with you each individually. I always appreciate the feedback during those meetings and find them of a lot of value. So thank you, and thank you for tonight's evaluation.
And if anybody else would like any comment?
Well, I wasn't part of this, but
Right.
she already took time out of her day yesterday to meet with me in preparation for this meeting, and is working with me to get the Google Docs and everything, so I appreciate that. So we're off to a good start already.
Excellent. Anybody else?
I have no additional comments.
I just want to thank you for your good work, that's all.
And thank you as well.
Thank you.
Yes. It's a pleasure to write, and you're a pleasure to work with, so thank you, and continued success here. My only comment about the process is that next year I hope people get them in sooner, so if we actually do this. This actually should have been done last week, because we usually don't have another member
Are you sure
on
you
here.
want people to get them in early next year?
Yes. Well, I would.
Yeah, yeah.
I would recommend it, so let's put it
Yes,
that way.
yes.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion that we accept this town manager composite evaluation as the public record.
Yeah, I move to accept the composite town manager evaluation as a public record.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Roker, you were not here, so you will not be voting on this. So well, because of that, let's go roll call vote. So Mr. Dwyer,
Aye.
Mr. Franco,
Aye.
Mr. Jeffries.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Okay. All right, next, current business. Yes, the post-election reorganization of the board, where we choose new members and new membership of chair, vice chair, and clerk. So we will open up nominations, and they'll be second, and then we'll vote on them. And so we'll start with the chair. Now, before we, as we start, I would like to say that having served as chair for the last 3 years, and I appreciate the board in entrusting me with that position. It's also been in not only this term on the board, but previous terms that, the position should be shared and shouldn't just be, done by one person. So with that in mind, as I open up nominations for the chair, I would like to nominate Michael Ray Jeffries to be chair for the upcoming year.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Alonso.
I will also open up if anybody else has any other nominations. Okay, so all those in favor of Mr. Jeffries being the chair, please signal by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So you now are chair, so you can run the rest of the nominations.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. No, thank you, Mr. Alonso, and certainly is an honor to work with you as chair of the board. I was not prepared to take over the meeting. All right, so the rest of the nominations tonight are, we have vice chair for the select board. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Tom Alonso to be vice chair.
Second.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, that was unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Alonso.
Thank you.
And for the position of clerk, do we have any nominations for the position of clerk?
I would like to nominate Mr. Franco to continue his dynamic leadership in the clerk position.
Second.
I was going to second that, so make sure.
I have to say, as a comment, in all my years now, this is 5 terms, I've never seen anybody fill the role of clerk as Mr. Franco.
I want to thank you. It's a big burden, but I'm willing to take it on again, all right?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Franco.
Thank you.
Would you like to run the thing from the chair seat, or are you
No,
willing?
no, this is
Okay.
fine. This is fine. All right, next to current business, we have select board designees to certain committees and liaison assignments. So in our Google Drive, we have a couple of, there's a document in our Google Drive that lists the select board representatives, liaison descriptions. So what I would encourage is that we take a look at this tonight and that we identify any seats, any positions that you may be interested in. It may be helpful in this discussion just to kind of run through this quickly in case anyone wants to identify any current assignments that they are interested in losing or perhaps continuing with, so that way we all know between meetings what to consider. So the first thing is the American with Disabilities Committee. This is open. This was currently filled by our previous select board member, Selectman Adams, who's expressed that she's not interested in continuing this role. So this is an open role, American with Disabilities Committee. We also have Capital Planning Committee, current member, 3-year term, Mr. Alonso. And do you have interest, Mr. Alonso, continuing on the Capital
Yes.
Planning Committee?
To make it easy, anything that my name is next to, I'd like to continue on those 4
Okay.
roles.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. The American with Disabilities Committee, do we know when those meetings are typically held?
So we haven't had a need to have a meeting, but we will in the future because we're trying to wrap up the self-evaluation ADA plan. So once that's completed, we'll need to start instituting all those recommendations. So that's when I expect then we'll start meeting, but we haven't had to have a meeting.
Are they typically during the day or in the evenings or
Um,
in the past?
That could be decided along the membership.
Okay, thank you.
We have, aside from the Montechusett ones, we have tried not to have day meetings because it becomes difficult for people to do. So almost all the meetings are at night.
Okay, we have Capital Planning Committee, and this is again a 3-year term held by Mr. Alonso. This meets when Capital Planning meets, and meets on Tuesdays at 5:30 from November to January. We have the Luneburg Municipal Building Design Committee. Current member is myself, and I do have interest in remaining on that board. We have Finance Committee Appointing Committee, and our current member is Mr. Alonso, who's expressed interest in remaining in that role. The Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, current member, and this is, I believe, kind of the backup, but this is a vacant, and MRPC meets the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. And then we have the Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee, MJTC. And this meeting meets on the second Wednesday of the month at 6:30 PM. And this position, this is also, I believe, backup. I think Planning Board gets primary
Yeah.
on these. And-
Mr. Chair, just a clarification because of, I think due to COVID, that committee typically meets at 2:30 on the second, or the second Wednesday of the month at 2:30 PM.
Oh, that's a change. Thank you.
Wait, which one is that?
The Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee.
MJTC.
MJTC, yeah.
And then we have the Montechusett Metropolitan Planning Organization, MMPO. Current member is myself. I'm looking to come off of this because the meetings are on Wednesdays at 1 PM. And then we have the MART Board. The MART Board meets on Tuesdays at 10:30, roughly once a quarter. And I'm currently on that board, and I'm open to staying on it or getting off it if another member has more availability. And then we have the Stormwater Task Force. The current member is Mr. Dwyer. Do you have interest?
I'd like to stay on it.
All right, and that meeting meets on the fourth Thursday of every month. So something to think about as we approach our next meeting, so we can decide it then. We also, in our drive, have the representatives and liaisons, and this is another document for the other boards and committees that we liaise with. So in addition to the ones I've already mentioned, we have Council of Aging. I'm currently the liaison for that, and I would request to come off of that only because of the difficulty with the meeting time.
When is that?
That's on a Tuesday at 9:30
In the morning?
in the morning,
And how often is it?
once a month.
I'm possibly interested in doing that.
Okay. We also have Economic Development Committee, and this is Mr. Franco.
I'm good staying on it.
We have the Finance Committee, Mr. Mr. Alonso, official liaison.
Miss Liaison.
Mr. Alonso.
Well, he's on it as a member.
And also Finance Committee, we already mentioned that. Library Trustees, I'm the liaison for that. I have interest in remaining there. We've already mentioned MART. The Open Space Ad Hoc Committee, current liaison is Mr. Franco. And do you have interest in remaining? It's been easy. right?
I will remain, but like, I have been out of the loop on that. I don't get communications, and I admit, I haven't been very proactive in getting the communication, so I will stay on it and do better. So,
And then we have Planning Board, Mr. Dwyer is currently listed as the liaison.
Yeah, I'd like to stay on.
All right. We have School Committee, Mr. Franco is listed as liaison.
Can I take that from you, Lou?
yeah, I mean, I have, having served on the school committee for almost 2 months now, I don't want to be selfish and monopolize the position. So if there's any interest in anyone else taking that on, I'd be open to that.
Well, your new duties as clerk are really going to take the rest of that time, so you're going to need that, yes.
All right. So Heather's expressing some interest there. And then we have the Luneburg Municipal Building Design Committee, myself, I'm expressing interest there. Is anyone else interested in that? And we have Senior Tax Relief Group, Lou and Tom. I would strongly recommend that we don't change the membership of this group. But do you have any interest, Todd?
No, I agree with keeping, well, both for continuity's sake, you on the Municipal Building Design Committee as well as Tom and Lou on the Senior Tax Relief. I think it makes sense.
Okay. And then middle high school civics classes, this is something that Lou and I currently do, and I have interest remaining as liaison.
I do as well.
So,
Mr. Chair, if I may.
yes.
I think to give some fairness to the new member, if she has any other interests, I will offer that the two I definitely want to stay on are the senior tax relief and the capital planning. The other two, if Ms. Rooker wanted to, if she didn't, that's fine, but I just want to give somebody the opportunity. Otherwise, we're just leaving her with all the Montechusett regional things.
Oh, no, it's okay. I do not want to sit on the Finance Committee. What else? What do you have? Capital planning?
Planning Board?
No. The only other, I like the Council on the Aging one.
So you,
During the day, and then there was the NMPO. That was during the day now, too?
All the Massachusetts ones are during the day.
Are they all during the
Yeah.
day?
yep. And MPO is during the day, and having served on MRPC, MJTC, having served on all of them, I think that MPO really is the one that's more tailored
Yes.
for this board.
Yes, I would agree with
Okay.
that.
Okay, so that one was Wednesdays at, one Wednesday a month at 1? Okay.
Correct. Yep. And they tend to cancel about 2 meetings a year.
Okay. Okay.
So, and just like Mart, it's quarterly, but it's not really. Sometimes it's every 5 months. All right, so it looks like there's a lot of interest in remaining. Heather, you're expressing interest in the school committee. Council of Aging, Lou and Heather have interest there. MPO, Heather's expressing interest there. And then we have the MGTC and MRPC.
I have to look,
vacancies.
I'm gonna look at those again.
Yep, so if you can take another look at these and then just shoot me an email between meetings if there's something that you are interested in that you're not currently serving on, or something you are serving on that you're looking to come off of, that'd be helpful. And then at our next meeting, I think we can be prepared to vote to approve all that. All right, we have minutes for April 12th. Are we prepared to approve the meetings from April 12th?
I had no changes.
All right.
I would make a motion that we approve the meetings of April 12th, 2022 as written.
Second.
All right. I'm assuming, Heather, you will abstain from this. So all in favor, please say aye.
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 None, everyone said aye but Heather. Heather, are you abstaining?
I'm abstaining, I was not around.
And it passes. Thank you.
That was a little strange seeing Tom make a motion, because we're not used to that. So,
No, I think, it's one of the first
the
ones.
head doesn't do that, yeah.
I think I've seen less than 5, so just a handful. Do we have any warrants, town manager, to the town manager? And Mr. Alonso, since you're sitting in the chair seat, would you mind just starting these?
Sure. Do you want to announce them first?
Sure. We have accounts payable in the amount of $876,803.74. Right. We have a payroll warrant in the amount of $3,031.60.
Sorry for signing in the top line. I have
all
it, so now I've signed on the second one.
All right, we have deductions in the amount of $211,991.09. And we have a payroll warrant in the amount of $999,464.02. Do we have any action items? Seeing none, committee reports. Mr. Dwyer.
I have none.
Mr. Franco.
I have a brief one. School committee on May 18th approved the election day signage policy that this board sent to them for review and approval.
Interesting.
Great, that's good. Thank you for communicating that. And then, committee reports for me, I have a brief one. The library committee met. There's some questions about the administration of the trust funds once that passes in the state level. So it's still working its way through the State House. And Heather and Mylene have been working with the trustees. I know there's more to be done, so just want to thank Heather and the treasurer for that work. I will give a better community report from the library at the next meeting. But any community reports, Mr. Alonso?
Yes, we met, Mr. Franco and I met with the senior tax relief group just before this meeting, or a little bit before this meeting today. Reviewed some of the data that our principal assessor has accumulated after our initial meeting, and it was a very positive meeting. We had the chair of the Board of Assessors with us, as well as the principal assessor, town manager, finance director, and myself and Mr. Franco. So we've starting to flesh out what the framework of such a program would be. CJ, the principal assessor, really had done a lot of research into our own properties that may be eligible, given the residency requirements and age requirements we had initially established. He also reviewed with the assessors from other towns, the 2 towns, Wakefield and Andover, who already have such a program, about how they work, and about how much they're really abating in this program. So the next step is I volunteered to put in writing what we discussed this evening and formulate it into a basic framework. We'll review it one more time and then start working with town council to try to get language. And there's some details in here that we have to iron out about what is the income and asset requirements to make sure we balance those. The goal was to make sure that everybody who we feel should qualify qualifies, while we're trying to, prohibit people who have maybe low income but high assets. Like, we want to make sure that the right people benefit from the program. So that's going to be probably a lion's share of our work beyond the initial requirements, the initial eligibility requirements. So, and then we're going to look at how do we cap the amount? Do we cap an amount that anybody can individually be abated, or do we take it as a total of percentage of the overall levy that we would displace and shift over away from those seniors? So those are some details we have yet to work out.
Thank you for that update, Mr. Alonso. All right. I think this is going to be in the history books for one of our shortest meetings. Upcoming meeting schedule, we have Memorial Day ceremony this coming Monday at the Veterans Park at 10 o'clock a.m. The APDC hearing for Ritter and Town Hall renovations, that is scheduled for June the 6th at 7:30 p.m. We have the volunteer appreciation event at the Eagle House on Thursday, June the 16th from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. And the town manager mentioned earlier that we have a June 14th meeting for the 55th anniversary, and that is at noon, and that's a luncheon. And the select board's next meeting is on June 7th, June 14th, and June 21st. We have any public comments this evening from the public? Mr. McDonald on Zoom.
Nope. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, good evening, Mr. McDonald.
I just want to say a couple of things, if I could, in regards to the election. First of all, I just want to thank all the people who ran and who got elected. Dave McDonald on Island Road. I'm also the Sewer Commission Chairman. So I want to thank our commission for what they did. We had two candidates that went and redid it. I also want to give a special thanks to a lady. Her name is Amanda Reed. She was voted in on the planning board. It took a lot of courage for her to do that. So I hope the town welcomes us and welcome her to the planning commission. And I wish her nothing but the best. As far as the board, I just want to thank Heather for stepping up, and you always do. I also want to thank and congratulate Mr. Ray for, Mr. Jeffries for being the chairperson. But it's got to be noticed also that I want to thank especially Tom Alonso and Heather for the last 3 years. Tom, when you became the chair, I remember helping you with your campaign. COVID hit, and you guys guided us through a very, very tough time. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for doing that, Tom. And I can't be remiss to say, I got to say thank you to Paula Bertram. This is the first time that I've been in town where she hasn't been in a public office. So I hope you all wish us and wishing well to Paula. And also a special thank you to Matt Morrow for 20 years. He was just a kid when I first met him, but I'm very proud of him, and he's retiring from the Conservation Commission as of, I think, the 31st. And the last comment I want to make is that I hope all of us tonight say our prayers to the children and the parents down in Texas of what tragedy happened there this afternoon. So God bless and Godspeed to all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald, for those heartfelt comments. Do we have any other public comments from the public this evening? Seeing none, do we have any public comments from the board?
Just a quick thing. I just want to also thank Mr. Alonso for having served as chair. And I think this kind of comes in public comment. I didn't know if it should be under committee reports because it hasn't happened yet, but I'll just say it now. Economic Development Committee will meet tomorrow at Thursday, May 26th at 6 p.m. in the Ritter.
All right, thank you.
I'm not a board member, but I never know where to put a comment in their
Right.
public board.
Yep.
I want to thank Dave McDonald as well for those comments. And thank you for bringing up Matt Merrow's retirement. We thank him very much for all his years of service and what he's provided the town as far as guidance. And I know he's worked with a number of different commission members, and he's helpful to departments as well when we need help in that area of expertise as well. So I wish him the very best in his retirement. And I want to thank Dave McDonald. He dropped off testing kits for various departments, including the Council on Aging, to give out to seniors. This was surplus that the Salvation Army had, so I want to thank him and the Salvation Army for that. So it's very appreciated. And also thank Mr. Alonso as well. So that's what I'll end it there.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. McDonald for his comments, too, and I really want to particularly thank him for, the recognition of Mr. Morrow, the recognition of Ms. Bertram, but especially the recognition of the town manager, who I think has done an incredible job in her entire tenure here thus far, and hopefully will continue well into the future. So I want to thank him for that. I also want to echo his calls for, recognition or prayers or whatever for the incident in Texas today. And I certainly hope that as a country, something is able to be done about some of this. And we don't just resign ourselves to the fact that, every week or multiple times in a week, we're going to be dealing with the same thing over and over, with people throwing their hands up that nothing can be done. I hope somehow as a country we come together to find out that things can be done, because this doesn't happen in any other part of the industrialized, civilized world. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alonso. Any additional board comments tonight? All right, and with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, the time is 8:06, looks like 6, and we are now adjourned. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Congratulations, sir.
Recording stopped.
Congratulations, Lou.